So this is essentially going to be a part 2 of the nutrition post. And if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. It details all of the macronutrients and why you should take them for volleyball. And today I want to get into supplementation, and we're going to talk a little bit about hydration as other aspects of like the nutritional side of things that are going to be super important for you to be the most successful athlete that you can possibly be, the best volleyball player, the highest jumper. All of these type of things there's going to be a lot of things within supplementation that are related to that. Really quick, my name is Greg. I go by the Volleyball Strength Coach. I train volleyball players from 12 years old all the way up to the professional level for beach volleyball and indoor volleyball, and I work with them online and in person. I've been playing volleyball for over 20 years, and I've been a strength coach for over 10 years, including getting a master's degree in sports performance. So I've been doing this for a long time. Today, I want to get into the only 4 supplements that I really recommend to people, as well as some additional honorable mentions. Okay, there's a lot of supplements out there. Most of them are completely useless. Most of them that tout the benefits for athletic performance or fat loss or muscle gain just don't do anything. And it's just an issue within the supplement industry because it's unregulated. So I'm going to give you my 4 favorite things that I recommend to most people, and I will let you decide if it's something that you want to take or not. And before we get into that, as a reminder, I am not a registered dietitian. I am not a doctor. I am a certified nutrition coach, and I'm a strength conditioning coach. But if you want real help with nutrition, go find a registered dietitian. Don't listen to me. I'm just telling you this based on my personal experiences. So supplement number 1 that I recommend for volleyball players is creatine, specifically creatine monohydrate. When I was growing up, creatine is something that kind of got demonized because it got blamed for some things that it really had nothing to do with. But in reality, creatine is the single most studied, the single most proven supplement that has ever existed. More studies done on it and more studies showing that it works than anything else in history. And unless you have some kind of underlying health conditions, basically no risk. Or if you're taking the correct amount, basically no downside to it. If you take too much, it can give you some gastrointestinal issues, and we'll just leave it at that. But creatine is super beneficial for volleyball players. If you watch the nutrition video that I put out, I talked about how carbohydrates are our fast-acting fuel, so our short duration fuel. Creatine is actually used for our immediate duration fuel. So like a max effort jump, a 40-yard dash, something super fast, really fast volleyball movements. Creatine is used in the production of energy for that. Okay, so super important from that aspect, just from the performance side. From the other benefit of it is it basically just makes everything you do in the weight room slightly better from a results perspective. So you'll get a little bit stronger, you'll build a little bit more muscle, you'll get a little bit more powerful simply by supplementing with creatine every single day. What it does is it helps hydrate the muscles. So people talk about the fact that, oh, you're gonna put on this water weight and you're gonna be bloated. And not only is that exaggerated, but the water that gets pulled into your muscles is one of the reasons why it's beneficial, because it allows the muscle fibers, the muscles to be full of water, and it allows the muscle fibers to pull more straight instead of like sagging, and then they're in this optimal line of pull that allows them to contract harder. And so overall, I know this is one that there's still a little bit of fear mongering behind it, but it is really, there's basically no downside. I recommend it to essentially everybody. They're even doing studies on it now for like effects on brain health throughout life and how it can be beneficial for that. But long story short, just take creatine. For most people, 5 grams a day is going to be fine. If you're a smaller person in general, you can do a little bit less. If you're a bigger person like me, I'm 6'4", about 230. I do take a little bit more, like 7 or 8 grams, but for most people, 5 grams a day is great. You just have to take it every day. There might be a little bit of benefit of taking it slightly before you work out, but in general, as long as you just keep it in your system and you take it day over day, doesn't really matter overall. Second thing that I recommend to everyone, regardless of volleyball or not, is magnesium. Magnesium is extremely beneficial. It's used for over 300 cellular processes within our body, and a lot of those are related to muscular contraction. So at one point I was doing some research on magnesium, and I did not expect to find a study done on volleyball players, professional volleyball players, that showed that the group that took magnesium, was given magnesium, had a standing jump that was 3 centimeters higher on average than the group that did not take magnesium. So a 3 centimeter standing jump difference just from taking something you should be taking already is a super beneficial thing. It's also great if you have trouble sleeping, and it's great if you suffer from muscle cramping issues. So the way that I've kind of had it explained to me is if you have muscle cramping that is unrelated to exercise, so it's not during exercise, then you could be deficient in magnesium. If you have muscle cramping that happens within exercise, so like during volleyball, then it's probably more of a sodium potassium thing. There's a lot of different types of magnesium. The ones that I recommend are magnesium glycinate and magnesium malate. Those seem to be the best for performance. You do have to be careful because some magnesium are used as laxatives. So there's different types. You have to check and make sure getting one that's performance based. Personally, I use something called it's a spray. It is by Activated Products. It's called Ease. I'm not an affiliate with them at all. But it's a spray that you just spray on your body before you go to bed, and it works absolute wonders. There's not a lot of supplements where you can tell an immediate difference when you take it, but this is one of those for me. I sleep better, and I can tell immediately, night over night, that I sleep better with it than I do without it. Third thing that I recommend for every single volleyball player is some kind of hydration or electrolyte powder. This is something that is going to help you keep your performance at a high level through a match, through a tournament, or even just through practice. And it's a good health practice that I just do every single day. I actually have some in this right here. Most of these products are going to be sodium chloride, potassium, and magnesium. If they have too much more in that, then you don't really need that per se. But those are going to be the biggest ones. This is something where those are things that we typically lose during exercise. So we lose sodium, we lose potassium, we lose chloride, and we need to supplement with those if we want to keep our performance optimal. So having that with you, especially if you're a heavy sweater, if you're playing beach volleyball, it's outside, it's hot, or if you're playing indoor volleyball in a hot gym and it's super sweaty, have a hydration or electrolyte supplement with you pretty much all the time. There are a few brands that I have found the dosages to be better than others. Again, I'm not affiliated with any of these brands either, but Element is really good. They're really highly dosed. They are sweetened with stevia, which is good, but not great for me personally if I take too much. There's Redmond's Relight, which I think is really good, also sweetened with stevia, doesn't seem to give me as many issues. And then recently I've been taking Lights by ATH, which is very similar to Element, very similarly dosed, but it is sweetened with monk fruit extract instead of stevia, and the sources of that you're getting are like a little bit different. So it's like pink Himalayan sea salt. It's a different type of magnesium, but it's really great. The issue with some of these is it's hard to find good ones in stores. So the one that I buy, if I have to buy one from a store, is from Gorilla Mind. They do sell those at Vitamin Shop. Those are pretty good. They have other supplementy things in there, but it still works really well. And that's kind of one that I take as a backup if I run out of the main one that I take. And then the last one that can be beneficial, but we do need to be careful with, is caffeine. Caffeine will help you jump higher. If your goal is to go into a workout and jump as high as possible, caffeine will help you jump higher, especially if you're not used to taking it. I know most people probably drink caffeine on a daily basis anyway, but there are some pros and some cons. Okay, personally, for me, if I drink caffeine before I play volleyball, not only does it affect my cardio by increasing my heart rate more than it's already being increased, but it actually negatively affects my ability to focus, where I will be out of focus on volleyball and I actually end up playing worse. So I have cut back on my caffeine before I play volleyball, but for workouts, it will make your workout better and it will make you jump higher. So you do have to be careful, figure it out for yourself, start to play around with some of these things and notice, like, okay, what did I have before I played? How did I play? I played bad today. I felt weird. What did I eat before I played? What did I drink before I played? And you can start to identify some of these things for yourself, like I have. Like I have come up with a pretty routine thing that I do before I play volleyball based on experimenting, seeing how things made me feel, seeing how I played, and then adding or removing things from there. Okay, couple honorable mentions. These are things that are probably good, but mainly you have to find good sources. And one of those things is fish oil. Fish oil can be really beneficial for your joints and for inflammation, but you have to find a good source. So what you're getting off of the shelf at like a grocery store is probably bad quality, just in general, just across the board, probably bad quality. So take your time, do some due diligence, find a product that is high quality. It's going to cost you more money, but otherwise you're just wasting your money taking something that's not doing anything anyway. So spend a little bit more money, get a high quality product, and then you can feel the difference. I can feel the difference. I can say that for sure. I know when I have not been taking my fish oil because my fingers are kind of creaky, my knees start to ache a little bit more, and then as soon as I get back on track and start supplementing again, those things go away. And then the last honorable mention would be protein supplements. So like a whey protein, protein bars, those type of things, any kind of protein supplement gets an honorable mention for the same reason as fish oil, is because there's a major quality issue where you can get cheap, low quality whey protein that is just going to wreck your gut and, may have protein in it that's not even like real protein that we can use. There's something called or nitrogen spiking that these companies will do. For the same thing, just go high quality. So find the best quality ones you can get. spend a little bit more money, get the high quality one. It's going to actually be worth taking in the first place instead of wasting your money on something that's just going to blow your stomach up. But ideally, we're getting most of our protein intake from food anyway. But if you are someone who needs to supplement, then make sure you are spending that little bit of extra money to get a high quality product. Actually, I changed my mind. I'll give an honorable mention, a third one, to nootropics. So nootropics are things that you take that helps with just your brain health or your focus, your ability to get things done on a mental level. Because of the way that my job is of doing this, I do experiment with a lot of nootropics, and I find that they can be very beneficial. Okay, caffeine is actually technically a nootropic as well. It's not something that might directly help with volleyball performance, but it's something you can play around with just in the day-to-day. I think they can be beneficial if you find the ones that are good for you. And I only bring this up because it's the only other thing that I take, and so I want to be kind of transparent on that end. But overall, just kind of closing statements here. Most supplements are useless and unimportant. You can play around with them if you like, if you want to try some different pre-workout or like whatever. But these are the ones that I recommend: the creatine, the magnesium, the electrolyte supplements, and then for most people, caffeine, and then honorable mentions to protein and to nootropics and fish oil. But again, for the most part, most things generally useless. Eat a good diet, get all of your macros, try to get as many of your micronutrients from food as you can, and then you won't have to worry so much about the supplements. And like always, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then follow me on my other social medias at the Volleyball Strength Coach and on Instagram, and that at Volleyball SC on TikTok for daily volleyball training content.